Hello guys, and welcome to a new video. In this video I wanted to cover the TCA configuration in TYPO3. So what I have here is the documentation. 1 second guys. So we have the documentation open here of TYPO3. So I'm gonna be showing examples in TYPO3 13 later in dummy project. So let's dive into it guys. So what is TCA? As you can see from the documentation, with the TCA we can define how the tables, the data types behave both in the backend and in the front end. So as you can see here guys, we can define the relations between the table and other tables, and what field should be disabled in the backend and with which layout. So for example guys, so I have, as I've mentioned, I have a dummy project installed with tdev. If we take a look here, so let's go for example to the pages data type. So let's go to the pages table. So if we open it here, so you see how every field is presented here, and as you can see the different field types and things like that. So, and this is all done through the TCA configuration of the pages table. So if we open the database, this is the pages table, and this all these fields will be configured in the TCA configuration, so that we can see them in this form. So we can keep reading the TCA documentation. So as you can see here guys, it says TCA can be seen as the glue between the data handler, which takes care of persisting the data into the database, and the form engine, which renders the table rows in the backend. So so with the help of the TCA, we tell the data handler how to persist our data in the database. For example, if I define a field as integer, so it will be persisted as an integer in the database. And we tell the form engine how to present them. So if I want, for example, an integer input, then it will directly know because of the TCA configuration. That's the idea behind it guys. So as you can see, it tells both this main core concept how they should behave for specific tables, fields, and relations. As a support of the front-end run process, also utilize TCA information. For instance, the XSpace MVC relies on it. So here it tells us guys, so other than the backend, what I just showed you guys, we can also use it for the front end, for the XSpace extension. So it can also be use it in the XSpace context. But for the sake of this video, I will only be showing the TCA configuration in the backend. So for the first part, maybe in the second part, I will show how it may be used for our own tables, and how we would use it in an XSpace context. So in a controller and in a view and in the model. And things like that. I may show that in part 2 guys, so stay tuned. So let's dive into it. So let's dive into real examples. So we've understood the idea behind the TCA configuration. Let's show real examples that showcase our TCA configuration. So for example, this is from the core configuration. So as you can see, this is the pages.php configuration. Let's start from the start. So guys, this is simply inside the TYPO3 CMS core package. this is simply to understand what a TYPO3 TCA configuration might look like, and how it will be then shown in the backend. So guys, we first have the label, which is the title. I can just show them simultaneously. So if you go here, so this just shows which field will be shown here, for example, as a title, or here as a title. As you can see, I'm saying the label is the title. So on the right, guys, this is the database fields. So this is the fields that are defined in the data and the table. So as you can see, if I go here and look for title, I will surely find title. So as you can see, this is the title. I'm just saying that my label will be the title. So if you go to the description column, this is, one second guys. So this is this description column, which is, if I go here and edit my page data set under the notes. So one second guys. So under the notes I will find row description. This is the field in the table. And if I go back to my TCA configuration, this is my description column. So I'm just telling TYPO3 that, one second guys, I'm just telling TYPO3 that this field will be used, one second, so will be used as my description. Let's go further guys. So this is the timestamp sort by. So whenever I let's say I update database, so new timestamp will be automatically set. So I'm telling TYPO3 that it should be updating when updating for example a page. In this case, it should use the timestamp field in the database to set a new timestamp. The sort by is whenever I'm sorting, so this is also an integer sorting. So if I go here, for example, and say, for example, this goes first and then comes this second. So in the database table, I will see here the sorting field. As you can see, one second guys, you can reload this. As you can see, my first page, so one second, as you can see guys, so my first page has been so the sorting has been changed after I've changed that. So if I go, this is the power of 2. If I go back here and say I want to put that back, let's go here and reload this. As you can see, this became 4 and 8, and that's the idea guys. So it just simply changed the sorting. So if we keep going, so the title, this is simply the title of the data type. So I think this is here, for example, when I do create new record, so this is the title. So as you can see, for example, the type, doc type. So the idea behind the type is if I'm having multiple types, I'm telling TYPO3 that, so I'm telling my TYPO3 backend that doc type is the field where I will be differentiating between multiple types. So version VC, this is the workspace versioning. So We can ignore that for now, we don't need it. Delete, my delete field is deleted, my create date is created. So I'm just telling TYPO3, for example, my delete field is deleted. So it will look in the database when I'm deleting a page. It will do a soft delete, so it will set my deleted field, which is here in the database, to 1. Created, so whenever I create a new data, then it will simply set a new create date. Hide at copy, that means whenever, let's show it guys simply. So that means if I go here and say, 1 second, copy, so 1 second guys, 1 second, so, and I do paste, then as you can see here guys, it just simply created new copy and it has set that to hidden. So this is the idea behind hide at copy. So prepend at copy, this is simply saying, 1 second guys, 1 second. So this is simply telling it that I will be prepending some data whenever I copy something. So if we go, I don't know if I have, okay, good. So it will simply prepend, second. So it will simply prepend some data, this string when I copy a data type. So this is a translation string, so it will take this translation that is done here. So the edit log, this is the edit log field. Whenever let's say I don't want to my data set to be edited, so my resource to be edited, so I would be setting the edit log to 1. Use columns for default values. This is also something advanced. We don't need it, guys. You can read the documentation for like a real good explanation for each field. But let's go further, guys. The language field is simply telling it, let's say I have 3 languages, English, German and French. I'm just saying this resource is in German, this resource is in French, is in English, and this will all be done inside this use language UID. So this is UID of the language. So let's say English is 0, German is 1, and French is 2. So let's say I create a new translation for my English resource in German. So it will be simply here like 1. So trans origin pointer field. So this is the parent, the localization parent. So let's say I've translated my resource from English to German. So I've created a new resource in German. So it will point to the parent, which is the English parent. So translation origin diff resource field. This is advanced, guys, so we don't need to worry about that. And the translation source is also, yeah, we don't need to worry about that. This is simply some internal stuff for TYPO3, so we don't need to worry about that. But it's good to have these fields also for our own tables. So the enable columns simply tell TYPO3 disabled is hidden. So if I disable my page, for example, then this hidden field will be set. The start time, the end time, then the front-end user group. So this is simply fields. Let's take a look at the backend. So let's go here. As you can see, let's keep so I don't know guys if they are shown here, so that's probably shown here, but we must find them. Yeah, as you can see, the start date, the expiration date, and you can like toggle these things guys. So, and as you can see, this is the group. So this is the front-end user groups that can access this page. So as you can see guys, we have two groups. This is two standard groups from TYPO3, and yeah guys, so as you can see, it has, for example, my pages has a relation to the front-end group table, and it is shown like this. So I can, for example, one second, so one second guys, let's one second, let's remove them both guys. So as you can see, here is the edit log. This is what we've already talked about, when if I don't want the other editors to edit this page, so I just do an edit log. So guys, and those are the most important fields. So as you can see here, for example, the type icon column, so I would be defining different icons, one second, based on the doc type. So the doc type is simply the page type. So if we take a look at our page, you can see I have like, I don't know, 7 page types, and each has its own icon. If I do something like this, let's go here, for example, if I do something like this, let's change it. So as you can see, it gets different icon. So let's go back here. As you can see, this is the idea behind that icon and the doc type field. So this is simply saying, okay, this is my value, and I simply get these different icons for each value. So the search field is simply whenever if I search my pages in the backend, then I should include these fields in the search. So, and then comes the columns guys. So the columns is simply the columns definition. So how each field should be rendered and how it should be shown. So for example, let's start with the doc type. I'm define this as a select. So as you can see here, this is a select. I'm giving it an item and a group. So as you can see, we can group the selects. This is pretty straightforward guys. So I'm simply define my select items and define my groups, and then simply just then the select item belongs to this group, and that's it guys. So this is pretty straightforward. The default is simply to say, yeah, this is simply default. When I have no value, then this should be chosen. The title, you can see it. So for example, the L10N mode, it does a prefix lang title, defines this as an input. So it defines the data title as an input, gives it a label which is translation, so in this local lang files, and it gives this side and tells it is required, and with the evaluation we are going to trim it. So, and the slug field, for example, also, which is for type slug, And the idea, this is a pretty special type in TYPO3, so you can define it as a slug type. It is there to generate or change the slugs, the page slugs, or you can also use it for your own resources or your own tables if you need it. Let's say you need slugs or something. And it is unique, so it will check for that it is unique inside the table. So this is a good use case. So let's keep going. This is TS config. This is all fields, categories, the type category. This is simply a new in TYPO3, I think 12 or 13. This is simply, I think, relation to the categories table. So we get something like this. Get simply something like this. So this is simply relation. So you must, we must of course create new categories so that I can choose them here. Let's go further. Let's go, for example, to the front-end user group. So let's see if we can find it. So guys, okay, this looks good, guys. 1 second. Yeah, perfect, guys. So as you can see, it is already in the enable columns defined. So this is like the hidden and the start time, the end time. You don't need to really define them. We simply define the enable columns. They are standard columns in TYPO3. This will simply define a relation to the front-end group table. Yeah, and that's it, guys. Let's go back. This looks good. So, and something important, which is the types. Yeah, so the types is simply I've defined here like 1 second here, exactly. So I've defined my type field is the doc type, so it would look inside the doc type, so it would look for the value of the doc type, and then it will come to the types and say when my type, for example, is 1, which is this constant. When it is 1, then I will show my item in the backend like this, so like this definition. When it is 2, 6, so when it is 6, for example, I will show it like this. Let's take a look in the backend. So for example, if I say I want it to be standard, then I have new tabs, so tabs have been added. So if I want to use the backend user section, so I want to define my page as a backend user section, then I have less tabs, so less fields to fill. So this is all defined in the types. Perfect, guys. So let's keep going. So as you can see, so this defines a tab. So I'm saying I'm defining the general tab, and then the palette is simply the grouping of multiple fields, and they are defined here. So let's take a look at the palettes first. So as you can see, I have my standard palette, so I'm giving it a label, which is, for example, this page palette. So this is simply grouped. So for example, here I have, in this tab I have two palettes. So first I have the page palette, the second I have the title palette, which has 4 fields with, and this had one field. So let's keep going. So my standard palette, which is the page palette, has one field, which is the doc type field. Yeah, for example, the title palette, as you can see here, has 4 fields. So it has for the title, then it has a line break, then it has the slug, then it has line break, then it has the nav title, then it has the subtitle, I think. Yeah, as you can see, guys. So it's simply saying the field and giving it the translation for the label. So, and this is how I'll be define my palette. So this is simply grouping of the fields. Then I will be using my palette. Let's go back to our backend user section. So I'm defining here general tab. I'm having 2 palettes, the standard and the title. Then in the next tab, the metadata, I'm defining 2 palettes, the abstract and the meta tags, and the editorial palette. And they will be simply shown like this, guys. Simply like this. Yep. Perfect, guys. Yeah, guys. So that's it for this video, guys. So in the next video, guys, I will be showing you how to extend this core tables like the pages or the TT content with the TCA configuration. So I will show you how you will be able to add new fields in the backend, so will be rendered in the forms, which you can later use in the front end. And yeah, which is very important, guys, if you want to extend this resources. And maybe in part 2, or maybe I'll make part 3, I will show you how to create our own tables and like do a complete TCA configuration for them and things like that, and maybe how to use them in an X-based context in the front end. So guys, if you need any help, like if you didn't understand anything, just leave a comment, guys, or send me a message. Also, you can book me on Fiverr if you're interested, guys. And yeah, guys, I hope you've understood, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.